Speaking of service to America, a Republican who made serving in uniform so much more difficult over the past year for some stupid political stunt finally caved.
Yeah, Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville dropped his blanket hold on military promotions after more than 10 months without receiving any of the concessions he was previously demanding. So he got, let me think about it here, nothing.
Well, he got nothing except, this is guy, I want you to look at him. This is a guy, again, what passes for patriotism, what passes for like Christianity these days, kind of crazy. I go back to Mike Johnson saying, just look at the Bible. That's what I do.
Read Tim Alberto's book.
And then you see one lie after another. Tommy Tuberville, campaigning as a patriotic American. All he does is attack the military.
Yeah.
Says they're weaker than ever.
Well, he
what
makes
a lie.
it weaker.
What a lie. What a lie to say that our men and women in uniform are weaker than ever. They're stronger than ever. They're more powerful than ever. They are relative to the rest of the world, Tommy. Relative to the rest of the world, our military is stronger than it has ever been. And if you don't believe it, you ask our enemies. You ask people that cross the United States military, and they will tell you. But can you believe we've gotten to a state where the Republican Party has senators who say they would rather our troops be like Russian troops who are getting routed, who've been routed by Ukraine, and then says our United States military is weaker than ever. What a complete, total lie and slander to the Marines, to the soldiers, to the sailors, to the airmen, to those who serve in the Coast Guard. What an insult to all our service men and women that the Republican Party has senators who say our military's weaker than ever when it's stronger than ever.
But the sick twist, Joe, is that any challenges this military might be facing, I mean, they will overcome them, but any challenges it might be facing is because of this senator blocking promotions, hundreds of them.
Yeah.
So joining the conversation, we have former U.S. Senator, now on NBC News and MSNBC political analyst Claire McCaskill, host of the podcast On Brand with Donnie Deutsch. Donnie Deutsch is with us, and senior political columnist for Politico, Jonathan Martin. Jackie Alemany and Mike Barnicle are still with us as well.
Great group. Senator, I'm not being glib when I say I'm proud to be an American. I have been my entire life. I'm so proud of the men and women in uniform. I can't thank them enough for their service. I also read history. I also know history, and I also know that our military right now, relative to the rest of the world, stronger than it has been since 1945. And yet you have Republicans like Tommy Tuberville trashing them and saying they are weaker than ever. What gives?
Well, first of all, everything's upside down. The idea that they are hijacking aid to Ukraine as a loyal member of NATO, and they're hijacking aid to Israel, and they're hijacking aid to Taiwan over domestic policy that they have not managed a bipartisan vote on since 2013, when I was still in the Senate. But I got a kick out of Tuberville yesterday. He's so dumb. Coach actually said to the press outside of the Capitol yesterday that it was a draw. Well, Joe, in language that Coach would understand, no, this was Alabama 62, Auburn nothing, and the last
Roll
2
Tide.
points were a safety where he was tackled in his own end zone. This was not a draw. He took on heavy water politically, and, frankly, while all of us were frustrated that Schumer was not willing to completely dominate the floor action with overcoming Tuberville's hold, he finally managed to get the Republican Party to turn on him. And that was a big deal. This happened because the Republican Party turned on one of their own. You would like to see them be halfway as aggressive with Donald Trump, because he is just as dumb and just as, frankly, unstable, probably, as Coach is. And Coach is out of his depth here and frankly didn't know what he was doing and has hurt our military and importantly the military families. And by the way, he's still holding 11 four-star generals. And four-star generals are very important in terms of military readiness. So he is not really given up yet. I think he wants to suit up again, and once again, he will be dominated on the field by his arch rival.
And by the way, the Wall Street Journal editorial page slightly more subtly making the point Claire's making, suggesting this morning that Tommy Tuberville maybe was an easy mark for right-wing activist groups so that they could get their message out and really get nothing in the end. Policy, Jackie, hasn't changed. So the question is, why now? Why did he give up this fight? 10 months, hurting America's readiness, keeping families in limbo, all of this, to what end?
I think it was a confluence of factors. Claire's absolutely right that, the pressure from his own colleagues was certainly moved him at least a little bit. Chuck Schumer was also threatening to force a vote on a resolution that would basically allow lawmakers to circumvent the vote to confirm some of these people en masse. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a surprise that this comes just weeks after Democrats showed in the off-season election that they can still win on abortion. And as Joe Biden and Democrats have struggled with a lot of other issues amongst especially young voters, his position in Israel right now, his age that a lot of people are increasingly uncomfortable with. Abortion is still the issue that is winning for Democrats, and that you've got to think that Tuberville realized is not the hill he wants to die on, or at least wants the Republican Party to die on going into next year.
There's a question, though, that lingers in all of this. This problem is not gone away completely. Claire just pointed out there are 11 four-stars awaiting promotions, awaiting assignments that he's still holding up. But the school year began in August and September for many, many, many military families. And they put their kids in the school where they were posted then. They may have been posted elsewhere in the interim. So you may have had a head of household, a father, a soldier, or a mother who is a soldier, sent somewhere else other than where the children are going to school. That family is disrupted for an entire year because of one thing. This dope, and he is a dope, Tommy Tuberville. Donnie, I don't know about you, but the idea that we spend so much time, legitimately, on what he has done to damage the military at the expense, which we don't spend enough time talking about, at the expense of the families involved.
Yeah, the Republicans are upside down on just about every issue that matters, Jackie, as you said, abortion, on guns, on Obamacare, and they're going to lose the military. I mean, if I was putting together a campaign for the Democrats in 2024, I would have, starting with Milley and every other person, every other general, every other Secretary of Defense, to say that this is not a group, this is not a party that is behind the military the way they need to be. This is a president that shames the military, shames our defense system, and once again, I'm going to use the military as part of my weaponry, for lack of a better word, in a political campaign.